What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This your girl Queen Tiles Crime, and I'm back with another video. Thank you for all my supporters, my viewers. I love y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all so kind, and y'all are very supportive in every which way, and I appreciate that. Okay. Once again, thank y'all for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and just being supportive. Okay. First off, I would like to say shout out to you, Phoenix. Thank you for transcribing Voices Behind the Wall, I believe, interview she did with Don. So that way I don't have to, really go over. I can just actually, she already put what he said in the interview with her. She already gave me what he said. So that I'm going to make a live from what he did with the interview he did with Voices Behind the Wall, and see if what he said matched anything he previously said. We're going to break that down, but that's going to be broken down in a members only live. So if you have not become a member yet, feel free. Your choice. Welcome to the family if you choose to. Okay? But yeah, definitely feel free to become a member. So you'll be, privy to the perks of the memberships, okay? But that, me breaking down the transcript of what Dawn said in her interview that she did with him will be a live, and it'll be a members only live chat. And everyone should be able to watch, but I believe only members will be able to chat, okay? And give their opinions in that particular live, okay? Also, after that transcription live from Voices Behind the Wall, the Dawn interview he did with her, I will be dropping another Michael Joseph Bond video with more information and more details and more questions. Okay, just trying to analyze the situation, see what really happened to this baby, and bring him home. So that's coming up this week as well. So make sure y'all notification bell is on, and so y'all be privy to everything that I'm posting and that y'all are getting. Okay, a lot is going on right now. I am aware of Unmasked. Shout out to Unmasked. She did a interview again with a stepsister. Okay, so she did another interview. So I will be breaking that, basically breaking down that of the information she gave us and making bullet points of that later on in the week. Okay, so I have a few interviews to break down. So bear with me, y'all. Kids started school this week. It's a lot going on. Kind of hectic. So the kids are in bed right now. So I'm taking this time out to bring a breakdown for y'all. Okay. So I'm taking that time out before I go to bed. Okay. Once again, thank y'all for watching. And I hope y'all have a great productive day. All right. So let's get down to the nitty and gritty. Okay. Excuse me, y'all. I'm not a thug. I'm not a gangster. This is my pajamas. Okay. Just got out the shower. This is my PJ. So excuse me. Okay. I'm just being me. Okay. Okay. So first off, Jazzy, can you turn that down a little bit? Okay, so what I'll be breaking down is Chris and Steve breakdown with Don. Okay. Part one. Because they're gonna have a different parts of, the breakdown of Don interview. They're gonna have different parts. So this was part one. Okay. So it sounds like it's gonna be a few parts because the phone conversation was pretty long. Okay. I went and shut the door because they might be asleep. But yeah, I didn't want to wake them up. I just shut my door. So the interview that I'm going to be breaking down tonight is what Chris and Steve did with Don. Okay, they broke down Don's interview, phone conversation. Okay. And this is part one. All right. So I want to see if my observations match Steve and Chris. It mostly did. Okay. A few things I missed, and I'm glad they pointed it out because I didn't see things that they saw. Some things I missed. Okay. So that's why I like to study and watch and observe things because somebody else might see something you didn't. But a lot of things that I already talked about and pointed out and observed and brought up as red flags and discrepancies, they addressed. So lets me know I'm on the right track and I'm not crazy and I'm not tripping. Because I be like, am I tripping? Like, am I tripping? You know, sometimes I want to know, am I tripping? But I'm not, okay? I'm not tripping at all. All right, the first thing I'm going to address is this. Chris said at the beginning of his live that Don called Chris. And I don't think people are understanding. Okay. So we know, so let me break it down so at least my viewers will understand. Because I don't want y'all to be confused with a lot of hearsay going on, okay? So let me tell y'all what I think everybody's getting confused on. Don did call Chris this time. Okay, you can also hear it on the full phone conversation on his channel. Okay, you can even hear Don say, I'm glad I called, or proof that he called him at the end and at the beginning. You'll hear Chris saying, hello. Okay, so listen. This is where I think people are getting confused at. Okay, now, when Candace did her interview with Chris, after all that was done, his part one and part two, Chris reached out to Don, okay? He did, in the beginning, okay? Remember Chris said he felt like Don was dodging him. That was in the beginning. Then Don did finally talk with him off the recording, okay? It wasn't recorded. So Chris came back and told us what he talked about on his interview room. Don got upset, went to Facebook, started bashing, okay? So after that, after Don bashed Chris, he didn't reach out to Don no more, okay? Listen to that. Chris did it first. Then he had a talk with Don. Off the record. Not recorded. Chris came to us, told us what they talked about. Okay, Chris came to us, told us what they talked about. Don got upset about the things Chris said and repeated that Don said, and he went to Facebook on a rampage. Chris was like, okay, he let it go. All right? Okay? Later on, Don reached out to Chris. He called Chris. The next time, that's how you got this phone conversation. So after this phone conversation, Chris came back to the interview room, gave us the information. Don got upset, went to Facebook, dropped his old interview, interrogation that Chris did and all this on the rampage. So, and he called Chris a liar. What Don did know, Chris had recorded that phone call when Don called Chris. Because this last time, Don did call Chris. Okay? So don't be confused from the beginning to now. Yes, Chris reached out in the beginning. But at the end, Don reached out to him. So don't get it confused. Don't get it mixed up. Don't read too much into that. It is what it is, okay? So yes, Don did reach out to Chris. And he got recorded on the phone conversation. And if I was Chris, I would have done it too because he had already been on social media bashing you and calling you a liar. Okay? So if that same person called me, of course, I would have recorded it too. Because once he came to the interview room and said what Don said and they talked about, he went and said he lied again. Okay? So He went back and said he lied. So that's when Chris dropped the recording that Don didn't know about. And then not long after that, Don started deleting all his stuff. But yes, after Don was bashing Chris, after that last, that phone conversation that was dropped, after he told what he said, then he dropped the proof of what he said, okay? So that's how it went down, okay? So it was both ways. At first, Chris did. He got to talk to him. Went on about his business after that. Later on down the line, Don reached out again, apologized for everything he said, and talked to him again on the phone. So just don't get confused or mixed up in that he did, okay? Don did call Chris, and I don't see what's so hard of, anybody understanding it. But anyway, I'm just going to break it down so at least my viewers can understand it, okay? Everybody is still persons of interest, okay? So there's nobody pretty much has been ruled out that's in the main circle, like Don, Candace, Allie, Hunter. For as we know, everybody's still person of interest. Nobody, or as that inner circle, has been ruled out. People are getting confused where meth came from. Well, meth use came from the interview and information that Don's sister provided us and the ex-wife. Okay, that's where the meth information came from. All right. And also Don himself, in the past, he was on heavy drugs. Okay. Meth was one of them. And meth was said many times from family members. Okay. Because when Don was on meth, his ex-wife was on meth too. They both was on hard drugs. And that was around the time that he allegedly tried to sell his oldest son for drugs, okay? Because he was on meth at that time, okay? I don't know if he's on any hard drugs now, but I know on that time, allegedly, when he tried to sell his son, he was on meth, okay? Allegedly. So just so people know where that came from, it came from his sister, ex-wife, and Don even said he was on hard drugs, but didn't say specifically, but the sisters and ex gave us meth. Said it was meth, okay? Because coke ain't gonna put you out your mind to where you gonna sell your son, okay? But I'm just saying, let me just make that clear where the meth came from, okay? Chris and Steve are not saying that Don is guilty or not guilty. I don't really understand how people don't understand that. With any case, you're going to break down. You're going to analyze it. You're going to break down things they're saying. You're going to observe their body language. Because that's what you do when you are working true crime or you're an investigator. And you're trying to find a child or solve a case or solve a problem. You're going to analyze the situation, okay? So that's what we were doing, and what Chris and Steve were doing. They are analyzing the situation, pointing out the things that don't make sense, reading body language, listen to the things they're saying, pointing out key factors. Just a general analyzation of the phone conversation. That was it. Nobody's saying he died guilty or not guilty, okay? I don't feel Chris and Steve were saying they either one. And Chris stated that he's not saying or giving anybody his opinion on if Don is guilty or not guilty. So don't ask him. Which I think nobody should ask anyway, because we as YouTubers have to keep an open mind and be unbiased. We can have our own personal opinions, but when you're dealing with a case, you got to be open-minded and be unbiased with the whole situation. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, they were just breaking down consistencies and inconsistencies, okay? Possible truth or lies, okay? That was it. One thing I do want to say, the truth doesn't change even if Don is paying attention and watching things on social media. Because somebody pointed out in the chat, don't know, I was just going through the chat and I end up turning it off because they irritate me every time. They irritates me. I don't know how people be moderators in there, because I be, no, boo-boo. Anyway, but yeah, so I saw someone say, well, he's changed, um he's giving out information because of what they're reading and what they're seeing on YouTube or social media, yada yada yada. But the truth don't change. No matter what Don sees on YouTube, Facebook, if something is the truth, it's not going to change. You can't alter the truth. So it's not going to matter what anybody say on social media because the truth is going to remain the same. Okay? So that's what people need to see, the bigger picture here. The bigger picture. Okay? And with all these multiple interviews, Don is privy to how he's going to answer these questions. So that's what I want people to think about and look at too. All these interviews he's doing, and I already been interviewed multiple times by law enforcement before he came to YouTube. He's already previewed to how he's going to answer these questions and how he want to look to the public. So also keep that in mind. He's done this plenty of times, so he pretty much knows how he's going to answer things. Don is not stupid. He's far from stupid, okay? And his interview is tainted. It's very much tainted, okay? I'm just going to be honest with y'all. It's very much tainted, okay? Chris has information that attests to Don not being truthful about Don beating the police there. So Chris addressed it in this conversation breakdown with Steve. That he talked to law enforcement, and when the law enforcement was there before Don, they already had the roads blocked off. The driveway blocked off when Don got there. That's weird, right? I'm just pointing it out. I personally, in my opinion, didn't believe that Don beat the police there. Anyway, not Rogersville police. I'm just saying. Okay? I didn't catch how fast that he processed his daughter of being gone. Okay? So they pointed out how quick Don processed. And I did say that how would he know she's gone? I did say that, but I didn't think of how fast he processed it. So that was a good catch from Steve and Chris. Very good catch. That's a very good catch. Because, yeah, most parents would be looking everywhere, searching everywhere, every place, every room, under the bed, every closet, tear the house completely apart behind whoever else that checked. I'm going to go back and check everything again. I'm going to check the beds, the closets, the doors, basement, every single thing I can check, even after somebody else checked. Before coming to that conclusion, normally, after multiple searches. And then still, most parents are going to be in disbelief, okay? But it takes a minute to process, okay? Yeah, and Don processed real quick, okay? He assumed real quick his daughter gone. Somebody kidnapped her like that. So that is weird. I'm going to say, yeah, that's real weird, okay? So they discussed good parenting. We discussed that they want the world to see them as good parents. So if anybody recall, a couple lives ago, we talked about how, especially with Candace, she wants to be seen as a good parent. And they said, in their interview, that indicates that in somewhere, some way, that they haven't been good parents, which we already knew. We've already came to that conclusion a couple weeks ago. Because they try to make it seem like, for example, they don't drink and smoke with Hannah, which we know that's what they've been doing. But that's not what good parents do. They don't drink and smoke. So they try to get away from that, lie about that, throw that under the bus, say Hunter's lying. But then again, Don just bring up on one of his interviews with Chris that, yeah, Allie get him money for cigarettes. So we all know that they're trying to paint this picture that they're good parents. And Candace does it too, not just Don, okay? So there's something that we did catch, and they caught it too. So I'm glad they addressed that. And why feel the need to tell us that? Why do you feel the need to tell us and sell, like Chris and Steve said, that you're good parents? when you should just be honest and real, because we already can see through anything. You know, you can't fake the funk. The truth gonna come out. And I see through everything anyway. Okay? So I'm just saying, why? Why I need to fake the funk? They also discussed how Don badmouthed police. Remember, we addressed it. Why Don wants to put a bad taste on the police. Remember, we addressed it. He always, especially, we addressed it in the live I did on his Facebook post. If y'all, my people can recall it. On the live I did with his Facebook post, we addressed, he always bad talking the police. Why? They trying to help find your baby. Why you want people to feel a certain way, or got some slick negative to say about the law enforcement who is trying to find your child? Okay? So yeah, they pointed that out. He always wanted to put a bad taste on the police. And is it because they won't listen to him? Is it because he feels they don't believe him? What is it? And that's my question for Don. Is it because they're not believing you, they're not listening to you? You trying to tell them that your daughter's abducted, but you got to understand that they have to work that case. They have to work it where the evidence takes them. You just saying this. They have to have something to back up what you're saying of abduction, Don. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. Okay. Yeah, Don felt he couldn't get through to the police at all. So they agreed on Don pushing the abduction theory hard, because remember we talked about a couple of lives ago about he been saying abduction from the beginning, literally since it came out that Summer Wells had been missing. He's been pushing it, okay? Pushing it hard, okay? So he's still pushing it. And that's, not much evidence that says she's abducted, but you still pushing it. You giving us suspects, and you just giving us honest information, and you talking about the dogs, and you just making it. You pushing away any obstacles out the way, so there's a big space for abduction. And that's what I observed, and I'm glad Steve and Chris caught it, okay? I'm glad they did, because I caught it as well. And I wanted to make sure they're seeing, if I'm seeing what I'm seeing, okay? All right? And obviously, they see it too, okay? They said he was selling the story about the dogs, which we know by pics plus Candace, dogs were there. And that's true. I never heard nothing about no dogs not being there until Don said that. I always was aware that the dogs was there at the time. Candace would even complain about them having their dogs with her dogs. See what I'm saying? And that's on the website, and that article she did on the website. She complained about that. They didn't let her know ahead of time so she could put her dogs up. So this is the first I've heard. And I really don't believe it, personally. Okay? But yeah, he's selling a story about the dogs, which you know by pictures, photographs, plus Candace saying that the dogs were there. Okay? So like I said, Don's knocking down any obstacles that stand in the way of that abduction theory. Okay? Period. He knocking it right on down. How did Don know no dogs was there? That's a question. A really valid question. Did someone tell you that? Because allegedly you wasn't there by what you're saying when Summer was abducted. So how would you know what dogs was there? Because you was at work, right? So how would you know what dogs was there? Did somebody give you this information or what? Okay? So once again, the pics show dog was there, and Candace states the dog was there. Okay? Truth does not need altering. It does not need changing. Let me reiterate that. The truth does not need changing or altering. It's going to remain the same. All right? A few questions I got. Did something happen at the home? Did little Summer make it home? Don obviously wants us to believe that the police erased messages from 3:30 on. Okay? That's something that Steve and Chris went over. The messages deleted from 3:30 on. Okay? Is it possible, since Don brought this up, that they themselves erased the messages and just blaming it on law enforcement? Is this possible? I don't see why law enforcement would erase from 3:30 on all y'all phones. I don't understand why they would do that. They already got the information. If you really got your phones back, they already got the information. So what would they need us to do with your phone? Okay. So once again, since Don brought this up, did you yourself, you, Candace, and Grandma, erase those messages and just blaming law enforcement? Whoever deleted the message, law enforcement can still retrieve those deleted messages. Okay? Law enforcement can still retrieve any deleted messages. Period. Okay? They addressed that Don not seeing his phone for 2 weeks after they was returned. I didn't catch that. And I listened to the phone conversation. And I think I even did a live on it and I didn't catch you.